Hey, what's up, guys? So, I know it's been a while since I posted. I actually do got some projects I'm working on, and pretty soon it's going to be some different type of content that I want to put out for you guys to see. Um, so pretty much what I want to put out is like some travel content, to even show like the fun side of this business and like some of the extra benefits you get to do and see, just different travel stops that I stop by. I'm still learning how to edit videos. As you can see, my videos have been pretty basic, just like selfie recordings, but I do have some projects in the works. I'm working with my cousin Sam, who's an editor, so we're gonna see what we have pretty soon. But I was thinking of a topic for today's video, and what I wanted to share with you guys is why I decided to open up my box truck business, as in what motivated me and the steps and what led me in this direction to do this. And I've been getting a lot of good feedback from people. A lot of you have been reaching out to me on Instagram, and I'm really happy to answer any questions. So feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions or you guys need help. I'm always open to reply. I may not have time for a phone call. I know I'm getting a lot of requests for phone calls, but just send me a message. I'll get back to you like that. I don't have time for phone calls, unfortunately. But so there's a lot that motivated me to do this business. And I think a lot of people get infatuated with the idea of becoming an entrepreneur. It's kind of like a title. For me, it was much more than just being a business owner. It wasn't just a dream. It was something that it was a real tough decision for me to do this business. And just to give you guys a little bit of a background of what I was doing before. So prior to myself opening my business, I worked at Verizon through a retailer or a third-party sales agent. Actually, a very good company. For sake of keeping it private, I'm not going to state the company's name, but I worked through a retailer with Verizon for over 5 years. It was actually really interesting how I got hired on. I must have been like 19 or 20, and I was working in the mall at a little churro stand, and I was the manager at this little waffle kiosk, and I was hustling churros, I was hustling drinks. I've always been really motivated to just really perform, and really push myself to be the best at whatever I do. And I remember I was the manager at this waffle place for about 2 years, really close to the boss, but I couldn't help but realize the allure of the Verizon store that was next to me. I would look over and I would see these agents, these sales agents, and these people would be dressed up in button-ups. They'd have really nice watches. Their hair would be combed to the side really nice. They'd be wearing slacks and dress shoes, and I thought, like, dang, and then the Verizon store just looked cool. You got phones in there, you got TVs, nice wooden floors. It just looked like a very professional environment. And I always wondered, I'm like, dang, I wonder what it would be like to work over there, because I used to wear a raggedy shirt, some dirty pants, because I got churro, cinnamon all over myself, and powdered sugar, strawberries, you name it. I look like a mess at the churro stand. And the manager at the Verizon store, he came over to me one day, because he used to watch me just like hustling from the Verizon store. Like, the Verizon store was next to my little kiosk in the mall, and there was like an inline store over there. And he came over to me one day and made me an offer. And originally I denied it. You know, I felt a closeness to my boss I had at the time. And, you know, I felt like a loyalty to my boss, so I couldn't leave after 2 years, you know. But couldn't lie though, the temptation, you know, of being at that Verizon store, you know, that allure of like what a job to have, what a career it looked like, you know. And the sales manager at that Verizon store was very persistent. I actually remember the guy. His name was Brian. Phenomenal salesperson, really phenomenal salesperson. And he came over and he told me how much. He asked me how much I was making at the little waffle kiosk at the time. I was making like $15 an hour. And he's like, "Oh, did you ever wonder what it'd be like to make like $30 to $50 an hour?" And I was like, "What? Okay." And that was enough to get me to, you know, to go over and join the dark side, I guess, you know. And well, the most awkward thing for me though, I mean, I didn't realize it was a sales job. You know, I didn't know. I was never in sales before. I didn't know sales. I was an absolutely shy person. I did not like talking to people. I was not a people person. I was not fluent with conversation. And he hired me on, and you know, I didn't know that store is one of the most popular stores in the area. And here I was, this rookie with no experience at a store with these top salespeople. You know, absolutely lost. You know, I didn't even talk to customers. I had to sell phones. I had targets. You know, and I remember seeing my first target. It was like I had to sell like 16 phones in 2 weeks, and I was like, dang, like how am I going to do that? And I was absolutely terrible. I sucked at sales. I was horrendous, you know. I used to not like it too. I didn't like selling to people. I had the wrong mindset about it. But over time you get better at it, and I started realizing, you know, that you're offering a service, you know. What's really being sold is not the product, but your service and how you can help people out and find a solution for them. And, you know, I had certain mentors in my life that really, really helped me out to understand what sales is all about. And sure enough, with the help of some great people, I mean, there's a huge list of names. You know, a lot of my close friends who were sales managers to me, assistant sales managers who molded me and trained me. And, you know, I'm super thankful. Like, you guys know who you are if you're watching this. Like, you guys really opened up my eyes to a whole different world. And maybe about 2 or 3 years into it, I had really excelled. And I mean, I remember the days I was working at the waffle kiosk, making like $700 a week, you know, and I thought that was big money. And then when I started getting really good at sales, you know, you'd make an hourly and a commission check. So I went from making like $2,000 a month to like $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And I was like 22 years old, 21, 22. And man, like it really, really changed my life. Like the money changes your life, you know? And it only motivated me to be greater and greater. And then it became more than just a paycheck at the end of the day, you know? If you guys have ever worked in a sales office, it's very competitive. They have rankings, they have numbers. You know, you have full transparency of where you're at and where the guy next to you is at. And when I was a sales rep, and I was becoming a really hot sales rep really quick, and I started watching myself get moved to higher stores. I was competing with the top salespeople in my district, taking home number one in the district at times, taking home MVP awards. it was a real journey, it really changed me. I went from being the shy kid to this extremely confident, just glowing salesperson, and I literally felt like I could do anything. I just had amazing confidence from being in sales. And I got the opportunity to talk to a lot of amazing people. I met business owners, families, and you start to realize that, my initial impression of sales, I used to feel like, when I first started, I used to feel like, dang, I'm ripping people off, like I'm selling these expensive products. But then you realize the value behind your service, and what you're getting paid in those commission checks is the value that you have as a person and what you offer to other people. You think about when people pay to go see entertainers, right? In a way, that entertainer's offering a service, to fans. They're offering an experience, because that person is the experience, and that person is what sells tickets, So, and I started realizing that what I did, I wasn't just selling phones. I wasn't just selling products. I was offering a 5-star red carpet experience, and I made my guests feel welcomed. I made them feel like they were in good hands, that I was going to take care of them, and I would do whatever it takes to make sure all their needs were met. And through learning these things from my mentors in sales, that's what I learned what real value is. It's not the product, it's what you as a person offer to other people. And that realization allowed me to eventually become a sales manager myself. And even that step within itself was a huge step for me, because that was like my 3rd year out of my 5th year, and I was still very anxious about sales and leadership. I was still gaining my confidence at the time, and all of a sudden I was offered a promotion. I became a sales manager at a small store, and I had a team of people who were brand new to sales. And you know what? It was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because when you start training other people, like when you teach people how to do things, like you might think you're already good at something, but when you can teach somebody, or when you try to teach somebody, you start learning in a different way. Like, it only makes you better at your craft when you start to teach other people how to do what you do. And that was the other big eye-opener for me, learning how to manage a sales team, how to develop salespeople, and how to show them how to sell. Like, there was nothing more rewarding than you and your team absolutely dominating other stores. And it's not even just that, there's a competitive aspect to it, but even knowing that all of your customers that come to that door are leaving happy. They're leaving 5-star reviews. When you offer a 5-star service, 5 out of 5 stars, you're making people feel really good. And when you feel good, people will spend money. When you go to Disneyland, you feel good, you spend money, lots of money. You're paying for an experience, a 5-star experience, and that's what really opened my eyes and showed me my worth, because I knew that whatever store I managed, that store was going to be a high performing store, because I knew that it wasn't about the product entirely. It is about the product to an extent, but it's not just the product, but what you and your team can offer in terms of value and service to the customer and to other people. And it's just in general, with anything in life, if you want to make good relationships with people, develop strong bonds, business relationships, you got to be able to offer quality service to receive quality back in exchange. And around like my 5th year as a sales manager, I was doing phenomenal. I was just like, it was just it became easy for me to an extent. And I had reached lots of goals that I wanted to in my life. I wanted to buy a house. I bought a house. I paid off my cars. I was feeling pretty accomplished. And, I had a few businesses before, and I failed before. I failed a few businesses. So but this was going to be my first big business. Like it literally took me 15 grand to get into this business. And I'm so thankful for the skills that I learned at Verizon, because the businesses I started before versus this business now, I had a way different understanding of how business actually worked, how to manage a business, and how to be strategic about how I was going to approach things. So another reason too why I decided to make the transition. So, I had a career at Verizon. I was on track to reach a higher position. I probably could have had a salary of about $100,000 a year. But just to tie back into the whole value thing, right? So I'm pretty sure a lot of people could relate to this, where you've worked extremely hard at a company, and you feel like your hard work isn't fully appreciated, and it's kind of tough to say that. It's a little bittersweet, but I got to a point where I realized that the value I offered and the talent I had wasn't recognized to the extent that I believe it served. I knew my worth, and I knew I was worth more than what I was dealing with. Plus, as you know, very tough time in retail, especially after COVID. You get a lot of people who are impatient. Majority of the time, I was understaffed. You had people constantly leaving. I had to make lots of staffing changes. It was probably one of the most challenging times to be a sales manager in the last 15 years, I would say, easily, during the pandemic. And I managed to get through it. And I'm thankful for the tough times, of course. It only better prepared me for what was to come, even right now with the trucking industry. And you realize what you're worth, And for me, I realized that I was worth more than $100K career opportunity. I really genuinely believe that the talent I had was worth more than that. And if you ever feel that way, you'll know that one day you'll feel motivated to even take a chance to start a business, because with the business you don't really have limits. I feel like with the company you can definitely go far. You can make a career 100K, you can make a 6-figure income. But with the business, yes, you're taking more of a risk, but you're really removing the limits, especially if you feel like you're offering more talent than what is needed for your current position. One thing I realized, that with this business, I could push myself harder than I did at my sales office. And I remember I started doing numbers in my business that were higher than numbers I did at Verizon. And for me, that was a big wake-up call. It was like a realization that, I could do this. And I knew that the talent I had and what I was worth, and the service and the amount of work I put in would show if I had complete control over my business. I took control of it, and for me personally, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I work really hard. I probably put in about 20 hours, 15 to 20 hours a day. I barely sleep sometimes because I'm putting so much work into my business. And it's not just driving the trucking business. There's a lot more to it. There's, you got to understand all the paperwork, how to deal with brokers, which routes are the hottest routes, you know, areas to stay away from, how to put multiple loads in your truck. And personally, I love it. I love the challenge. And even right now, it's probably one of the toughest times to get into the business, with the diesel prices being high. And you know, you see a lot of people quitting the industry right now because of that. But honestly, I had some tough times at Verizon as a sales manager, so it's like tough times don't faze me. And yeah, so what motivated me to start my trucking business was I realized that I was worth more than what my company believed I was worth. And I took a chance. I took a risk. You know, I really risked it all. I mean, it took me 5 years to get my home and to be where I'm at. I'm 26 years old and I'm in a good spot in my life. You know, this business could have very well failed in the first few months and I could have lost it all. But I know with my work ethic and the amount of time and effort I'm willing to put in, that I was not going to fail. Failing's not an option for me at this point, and I'll do whatever it takes. So I hope that anybody who's watching this, you know, if you're in the same position in your life, that you feel inspired by this, and that you could see it for yourself. If you really believe that you're worth more than what people see in you, just believe in that. Keep pushing. You know, I really do believe that we are limitless in what we could do. And, you know, just never give up. Never give up. Keep pushing. Keep trying. You really can do whatever your heart desires, as long as you put your mind to it and you don't give up. You're gonna fail regardless, you know, but you got time. Keep putting that time and working, and eventually the fruits of your labor are going to show. But that's all I got to say. But be on the lookout, guys. I'm going to have some new content pretty soon. Just me stopping at interesting spots around the U.S., traveling around. So I got some good stuff coming. I'm just waiting for my editor. My cousin Sammy's going to help me out. I really appreciate him for doing this. And we're going to up the quality of videos pretty soon. Peace out, guys.